Hi friends, welcome back. So want to give you an update on the situation here in Korea. As you probably know, there was a vote to impeach President Yoon. The vote did not pass, but there'll probably be another vote again. I want to go through some of the headlines and also to implications for financial markets. First headline, South Korea's President Yoon survives impeachment motion after ruling party boycotts vote. So essentially, there were two votes actually. There was one vote to investigate his wife and the second vote to impeach him. She is alleged to be taking a bunch of bribes, this kind of thing. It's been a scandal for a long time. And then the impeachment vote of him was after he essentially tried to arrest his political opponents and take over the country with the military coup. If you understand the history of Korea, this is actually really, really serious because it has a history of military dictatorship and basically being not democratic. So we're able to sort of go through the legal process and democracy in a peaceful way is extremely important. The impeachment vote that didn't pass is a shame, especially from the viewpoints of the Korean people. And you can see here it says Yoon's approval rating dips to 13% following martial law chaos. That's a very, very low approval. I'm sure you guys know 13% is very low. So what happened was after the first vote, this was to investigate his wife for corruption charges. The second vote, Yoon's party actually was walking out, right? So they were boycotting the second vote, but they felt a lot of shame. And I'll show you this. This is a picture of someone covering their head for the shame. And I want to show you some video of it so you can kind of see what it was like. So these are people walking out here. We'll play some. And you can see they have to walk through a crowd of like staff members and things like that. And some put their heads down, as you can see right here. So like these people, she has her head down. Some are wearing masks. People are, maybe not as shameful. I think she's feeling shame. You can see just different people react to it differently. And essentially what you're doing is, remember in your history, sort of military rule has been part of the history, right? And literally we all know, if you know Korean history, that it was wrong, the things that the old regime used to do. And so it's in this day and age, it's crazy that these people wouldn't vote to impeach the current sitting president. But again, they're in his party. It's equivalent to like Republicans who don't call out Donald Trump. But some of the people feel shame, and you can see just how their behavior. So she's got her head down, right? Just want you guys to see kind of what it looks like. There's one right here. You can see they got the head covered, right? So you can't see who they are. They're trying to cover their, don't want photos.
퇴장을 했습니다. 탄핵에 가장 강하게 반대하는 목소리를 내왔던 친윤계 의원은 물론
he has his head down. And then I want to show you this too. This is actually from inside the chamber, the people who are still there, right? So they're calling to vote to impeach the president. And essentially what they do then is they call out the people who left by name. So just have a listen. I'll show you guys what I mean.
김영동 의원! 어서 빨리 돌아오십시오. 김희정 의원!
So he's saying the name, right? And then they all repeat the name. So just imagine if this would happen and you say you took a vote and say in Congress and a bunch of the Republicans all left, and then you start saying, and it's kind of what they said is like, but by not voting, participating in the impeachment vote, you're betraying the people, you're betraying the country, right? You're a traitor, these kind of things. And they're calling the names out of the people who left. It's the names of all the people. We're not sure, but my wife thinks he might have been hurt during the scuffle with the soldiers. Remember, the President Yoon called the military on the Congress to try to block the vote to keep the martial law. It was so ridiculous, but this is calling out the politicians. So I just wanted you to see what that was like, and watching this live yesterday was really powerful. Also want to show you guys this because this is not over. The labor unions are going to go on strike indefinitely. So this is like the biggest one. And I don't know how many different unions will go on strike. So they're basically saying, hey, we're going to go on strike until you leave office. Regarding, Korea, right now, you guys may know this, it's a big trading partner to the USA. So in terms of USA, these are the top trading partners. So Mexico, Canada, China, Germany, Japan, and then Korea's here. So it's actually Germany, Japan, and Korea are kind of similar in terms of trading partners. The top three are going to be Mexico, Canada, and China. But if Trump is trying to cut down trade with China, you may see more trade coming in from Korea. From the Korean perspective, the countries that Korea trades with, China being number one, USA being number two, and Japan being number three. Then you have Vietnam, Taiwan, Australia, and Hong Kong. I mentioned this before on the channel, and if you guys have been following this situation, say with U.S. politics or politics in Asia, if Trump does go hardcore on tariffs and starts burning bridges and burning your allies and your trading partners, there'll just be new trading blocks formed. Already, say for example, Korea trades with Australia, so if we're not going to trade with the USA anymore, we'll just trade with Australia more, or we'll trade more with China, or we'll trade more with Vietnam, sort of to make up for the differences. So I wanted to point that out. The big thing right now is the government here in Korea. They're just trying to convince investors that everything's okay, we're all going to be stable. And in fact, the finance minister was actually even writing letters, emergency letters like, okay, everything's going to be fine, don't worry. Because essentially the worry is that foreign investors would just pull all of their money out. Now, remember, money can flow, anywhere around the world these days. And essentially this whole sort of system, financial system is, and, markets are based on confidence. You're confident that you're everything's going to be stable and people are still going to be shopping essentially, or companies are going to still stay open. So for example, what if the companies and all the employees decide to just go on strike for like 2 months, and Yoon's party, which again is equivalent to like the Republicans, decide not to take action of what the people's will are? We'll see on that. And there is big movements in the currency. The Korean won has actually been crashing a bit. You can see it's at a 2-year low. So right, I think the current exchange I just checked, I think the dollar to the Korean won is like 1,424, something like that. Generally speaking, it normally trades at, well, it depends on where you look, but roughly maybe $1 to 1,100 Korean won. So 1,400, is much different, obviously much higher than, I think it's like a 20% difference, something like that. Also, you can look at this. When during the martial law thing and the uncertainty, Bitcoin actually crashed here in Korea. At one time, you could buy it for 65,000, which is really, that's in dollars, which is obviously really low. So it was kind of like a flash crash. Basically, it was a drop in liquidity. I'm trying to draw an arrow here. It was a drop in liquidity, and then it rebounded right back up. So this is what that is right there, and then essentially a flash crash. My wife Yeji, she has a friend who bought a whole bunch of coin like right at the bottom of the crash and did quite well. But yeah, you have to be right on top of that and be trading crypto. The liquidity situation, say for Bitcoin over, it's very different than USA, so it's not as easy to buy it. So that's sort of why liquidity drops so quickly. And there could be too, like a lot of people just like, you know what, I'm getting out of my Bitcoin, screw that, just give me something else. And if you aren't familiar with Korean history, I recommend this movie before, and I just keep recommending it because it's so well done. This was actually the number one movie last year in Korea in terms of box office. Plus, it was just the best movie last year. I saw it, and I keep mentioning it. It's so good. But this is actually really popular on Netflix, and it's just important to learn from history. So this is not the end of this in Korea. There'll be more protests. I think it's going to be every weekend. And essentially, the opposition party to Yoon will keep calling for impeachment votes until it's done, and people will stay on strike. So I'll give you an update on this stuff as it proceeds, and appreciate watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.